My beloved, you did not arrive here by accident. Out of countless moments, countless choices, countless distractions, your eyes landed here now, not earlier, not later. Now, and that timing is important because when a message reaches you at the exact moment you were not searching but needed it, that is not coincidence. That is a sign, my beloved. You have been carrying something quietly. Not always pain. Sometimes uncertainty. Sometimes a question you never spoke aloud. Sometimes a feeling that something is about to change. But you don't know how or when. You kept moving anyway. You smiled when needed. You handled responsibilities. You stayed strong in ways no one applauded. But inside you wondered, am I on the right path? Did I miss something? Is this pause meaningful or am I just stuck? If those thoughts feel familiar, then listen carefully. This message did not come to entertain you. It came to interrupt doubt. My beloved, signs do not always appear as miracles. Sometimes they appear as timing, as words that land heavier than expected, as stillness that suddenly feels meaningful, as a moment where your heart says, "Pay attention." That is what this is. You may have been asking for direction without words. You may have asked through exhaustion, through patience, through letting go, through continuing even when motivation faded. Those are prayers, too, and they are heard, my beloved. There was a time when you believed signs would be obvious. Clear instructions, loud confirmations, unmistakable signals. But signs grow quieter as you grow wiser. They do not chase your attention anymore. They wait for your awareness. And right now, your awareness is open. If you are seeing this, it is because something within you is ready to shift. Not necessarily everything, but something important, something foundational. My beloved, you have reached a point where repeating the old ways no longer feels right. You feel it when you try. The same habits drain you faster. The same compromises feel heavier. The same distractions no longer satisfy. This discomfort is not failure. It is transition. Many people mistake transition for stagnation. But stagnation feels numb. Transition feels restless. And you have been restless. Not because you are lost, but because you are outgrowing something. My beloved, if you are seeing this, it is a sign that you are not meant to carry everything alone anymore. Not the overthinking, not the pressure, not the responsibility for outcomes you cannot control. You have been trying to hold the future together with effort alone. That is exhausting, and it is not required of you anymore. You may not realize it yet, but you are standing at the edge of a shift. Not a dramatic one, a decisive one, where your inner world begins to align with what you truly need. My beloved, you have been strong for a long time. Strong enough to endure without reassurance. Strong enough to keep faith without proof. Strong enough to keep moving without clarity. But strength is not what you need now. You need permission to soften. Permission to trust that something unseen is working. If you are seeing this, take it as a sign that you do not need to rush. What is meant for you does not escape you. You do not miss what belongs to your path. My beloved, you have been comparing your journey too much. Comparing pace, comparing progress, comparing outcomes. That comparison has been stealing your peace. This sign arrives to remind you your timing is not wrong. It is personal. You are not behind. You are becoming. There are things rearranging quietly in your life. Conversations you have not had yet. decisions you have not been asked to make yet, opportunities you cannot see yet. But the groundwork is being laid, and groundwork always happens invisibly. My beloved, you feel torn between holding on and letting go, between staying patient and moving on. That tension is not confusion. It is discernment forming. You are learning what no longer fits. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that clarity will come not through force but through stillness. You do not need to solve everything today. You need to listen. Listen to the part of you that feels tired of pretending everything is fine. Listen to the part of you that wants honesty over approval. Listen to the part of you that longs for peace more than validation. That part is guiding you. My beloved, this sign is not asking you to change who you are. It is asking you to return to who you have always been beneath expectations, fear, and pressure. You may have been wondering why certain doors did not open this year, why certain plans slowed down, why momentum felt interrupted. Those pauses were not punishments. They were protections. You were being redirected away from what would have drained you. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that what did not work out was not meant to follow you forward. And what will follow you forward will feel lighter. The next phase of your life will not demand that you abandon yourself to succeed. It will require alignment, not sacrifice. And alignment is beginning now. You will begin to notice small confirmations. Not fireworks, but peace where there used to be tension. Relief where there used to be worry. Clarity where there used to be confusion. These are signs too. If you are seeing this, do not dismiss it as just another message. Let it settle. Let it remind you that you are not invisible, that your effort is not wasted, that your waiting is not meaningless. My beloved, you are not alone in this moment. You are supported in ways you cannot yet see. And this sign is only the beginning. My beloved, now that you have accepted this moment as a sign, I want to show you what it is pointing toward. Not with pressure, with truth. This sign did not come to frighten you. It came because something inside you is ready to move forward. Even if your mind still feels uncertain, there is a difference between fear and unreadiness. Fear tightens you, and guidance is what is being offered now. My beloved, for a long time, you have been standing at an inner crossroads. Not always consciously, but you felt it in moments of hesitation. In the way certain choices no longer felt right, in the way old patterns stopped bringing comfort. You kept going anyway, hoping clarity would appear suddenly. But clarity does not arrive suddenly, and it unfolds now. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that one phase of your life has completed its purpose. You do not need to cling to it anymore. That does not mean it was wrong. It means it has done its work. My beloved, there are things quietly leaving your life. Not dramatically, gently. Old expectations, old self-doubts, old beliefs about what you must tolerate to be worthy. You may not even notice them leaving at first, but you will feel lighter. This sign arrives to tell you that holding on longer would have cost you peace, and peace matters more now than ever. You may have been wondering why your heart feels less invested in certain things, why conversations feel repetitive, why certain ambitions feel hollow, why you no longer want what you once chased. That is not laziness. That is alignment changing, my beloved. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that you are being prepared to receive something without anxiety. Earlier, when good things came, you worried about losing them. Now you are learning how to receive without clinging. That change is essential. You have also learned something important this year. Not every opportunity is meant to be taken. Some are meant to be observed and declined. This discernment is wisdom. My beloved, this sign also points towards something new forming, not yet fully visible, but present. It feels like curiosity without urgency, hope without desperation, readiness without rushing. That feeling is your inner compass activating. You may notice that you no longer feel the need to explain your choices to everyone. You trust yourself more now. That trust creates quiet confidence. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that your next steps will not require force. They will require honesty. Honesty about what you want. Honesty about what drains you. Honesty about what you are done carrying. That honesty will simplify your life. My beloved, you may still fear making the wrong decision, but notice this. You are no longer afraid of learning. You understand now that even mistakes bring insight. This understanding frees you from paralysis. This sign arrives to remind you that you are not late. You are right on time for who you have become. You are no longer meant to repeat cycles just because they are familiar. Familiar does not mean aligned. Comfort does not mean right. You are learning the difference. My beloved, you may feel drawn towards stillness now. Less noise, less distraction, less urgency. Stillness is where truth speaks clearly, and truth is speaking to you now. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that you are supported even when you do not feel confident. Support does not always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it nudges. Sometimes it simply keeps you standing. When you thought you would fall, my beloved, there is also something being asked of you gently. To trust the pace, not to rush clarity, not to demand certainty, not to force outcomes, because forcing now would only delay alignment. You may notice that your desires feel more refined. You want fewer things but better ones. You want depth, not noise. You want peace, not validation. This refinement is maturity. If you are seeing this, it is a sign that your inner world is becoming safer. Safe enough to dream again. Safe enough to hope without fear. Safe enough to move forward honestly. My beloved, you are no longer living reactively. You are choosing intentionally. That shift may feel subtle, but it changes everything. There will be moments ahead when you question whether this sign mattered. In those moments, pay attention to how you feel now. Calmer, more aware, less pressured. That is alignment settling in. An invitation to trust your inner guidance. An invitation to release what no longer fits. An invitation to move forward without fear. My beloved, you do not need to know every step. You need to take the next honest one, and that step will reveal the next. My beloved, now that you have noticed the sign, something important begins to happen. Life responds when awareness appears. Before this moment, many things were paused. Not because they were denied, but because you were still learning how to see clearly. Seeing is different from looking, and now you are seeing. This sign is not a warning. It is a confirmation. A confirmation that the inner work you have been doing without applause, without recognition, without certainty has reached a point where it can begin to move outward. When a sign is truly meant for you, it does not demand belief. It creates resonance. You feel it in your chest in the stillness after the words land. In the quiet sense of, "This matters," that resonance is your soul responding. You have crossed an inner threshold. You may not be able to name it exactly, but you will notice its effects. Your reactions soften. Your decisions simplify. Your fears loosen their grip. This is not coincidence. It is consequence, my beloved, because you noticed the sign. You are no longer asking the same questions in the same way. Earlier you asked, what if I fail? What if I choose wrong? What if nothing changes? Now the questions shift to something gentler. What feels honest? What brings peace? What aligns with who I am now? That shift changes the path you walk. You are no longer moving from urgency. You are moving from awareness. Urgency exhausts. Awareness guides. This sign also activates something else. Permission. Permission to stop forcing what resists you. Permission to walk away from what drains you. Permission to wait without guilt. Permission to trust yourself again. You did not give yourself this permission earlier because you were afraid of what would happen if you did. Now you are less afraid, and fear loses power when it is no longer obeyed. My beloved, you may begin to notice subtle rearrangements in your life. Not dramatic shifts, but meaningful ones. Conversations change tone. Situations resolve quietly. Paths you once chased lose importance. New ideas appear gently. These are signs responding to the sign. The universe does not shout when it agrees with you. It aligns. This sign also changes your relationship with patience. Patience no longer feels like waiting without reward. It feels like trust in motion. You understand now that patience is not passive. It is active faith. My beloved, you may still experience moments of doubt. That is natural. But doubt no longer paralyzes you. It passes through without controlling your direction. You acknowledge it and continue forward anyway. That ability marks emotional maturity. The sign you noticed does not promise that everything will be easy. It promises that you will no longer walk blindly, and clarity is more valuable than ease. Something else begins to happen quietly. Your intuition sharpens. You sense when something is right without needing external confirmation. You sense when something is wrong without needing explanation. This intuitive clarity is a result of listening inward for so long. Earlier you searched for signs everywhere. Now signs appear naturally because you are present. This sign also invites you to release old narratives about yourself. The story that you are behind. The story that you missed your chance. The story that you must struggle endlessly to deserve good things. Those stories no longer fit, and because they no longer fit, they lose their power. My beloved, you may notice that your energy feels more contained now, less scattered, less pulled in multiple directions. You focus better. You rest deeper. You choose more intentionally. This containment is strength because you notice the sign. You are no longer asking life to prove itself to you. You are participating with trust, and trust invites cooperation. My beloved, this sign does not require you to make sudden changes. It requires you to honor what you already know. Honor the truth you feel in your body. Honor the fatigue that signals misalignment. Honor the peace that appears when you choose honestly. These are not random sensations. They are guidance. You are no longer meant to push through everything. Discernment now replaces endurance. And discernment protects your future. My beloved, now that you've received this sign, there is nothing more you need to chase, nothing more you need to prove, nothing more you need to force. The sign has already done its work by awakening your awareness. You do not need to wait for another confirmation. You do not need to ask again. If you are on the right path, the feeling of steadiness you carry now is the answer, my beloved. You are no longer walking blindly. You are walking with inner permission. Permission to trust what you feel. Permission to move at your pace. Permission to choose peace without guilt. This permission is what the sign was meant to give you. The sign does not guarantee that life will be predictable, but it assures you that you will not be lost. You may still face uncertainty, but uncertainty no longer feels threatening. It feels navigable, my beloved. As you move forward, pay attention to how life responds when you act from honesty instead of fear. Notice how resistance softens. Notice how timing improves. Notice how clarity replaces urgency. These are confirmations that alignment is guiding you. You are not being asked to change who you are. You are being invited to live as who you already are. That is the difference. My beloved, let go of the pressure to understand everything immediately. Some understanding arrives through time. Some arrives through experience. You are allowed to learn as you go. The sign you noticed will continue to echo quietly, not as words, but as a feeling of rightness. When you choose truth, that feeling will guide you more reliably than fear ever did. My beloved, you are supported. Even when you feel unsure, you are guided. Even when the path is not fully visible, you are protected. When you choose alignment over force, trust what feels steady. Release what feels heavy. This is enough. You do not need to rush your future. It will meet you when you are ready to receive it fully. And you are closer now than you realize. My beloved, carry this sign with you. Not as something dramatic, but as something grounding. A reminder that you are not alone. A reminder that your journey is unfolding as it should. A reminder that awareness changes everything. I walk with you in every step you take. In silence, in movement, in trust. Always. I love you, my beloved. Thanks for watching Krishna Says. Subscribe for more.